Hello, welcome to the Mist Podcast. I am your host, Aeromist. Coming back to you with another suggestion from somebody, actually. They asked the question, how do you take care of your mental health? I'm going to take this as a conversation to talk about some aspect of self-help, but really how you have to take care of yourself. Because I don't think all of us, and this is including myself before I ever understood it, have been taught how to take care of ourselves emotionally. Now, I can't exactly teach you how to take care of yourself financially. I'm still kind of figuring that out personally. But the real big part of getting all of those things taken care of in general, like everything else that you want to do, your communication, your interaction with the world, finances, all that other kind of stuff that involves taking care of yourself. The forefront of everything that you could ever put yourself into, especially the material world, is your emotional and mental state. And once again, kind of like in the last episode that I put out, which I definitely recommend going and checking that out. It's I talk about how to handle mental illness in general without actually having to go towards medication and what you can do before you feel like that's even an option to begin with. I personally don't think it should be an option because there's so many other proven options, but different conversation, different day. So for this specifically, when it comes to taking care of your emotional self, is understanding the emotional self first, because you need to know that child inside of yourself and how you need to know every part of your existence, right? And how they coincide together, because they do, and they always will, they always have. And this is the basis of the product that you are, the accumulation of everything you've ever experienced, you've ever been through, whatever. And if you've never given yourself, or no one has given you the time, the care, the love, the energy, and all these other things, the priority, the opportunity to be the priority, then it's something you have to take upon yourself to bring yourself into. And asking this question, how do I value myself? And this can be a hard frame for some people to walk into, but how do I value myself, and how do I take care of my mental health? How do I take care of myself? Because if no one's going to take care of me and I don't know how to do it, then what the hell am I going to do? Like, what do I fucking do? How the hell am I going to do this? You are the priority. And you have to understand that becoming the priority means that you're helping everyone around you, but you have to begin with the help of the self. Because if that's not there, then nothing's going to help you anyway. Because it still starts and ends with you. To care for yourself, you have to start understanding what is self-care, right? Taking care of your body, knowing what you're putting on your body, right? To wash your body, to wash your teeth. Like what are those? Are those chemicals? Are those helping me? Or are they hurting me? Is the food that I'm eating, is that loving me? Is that giving me energy? Is it making me feel loved? Is my love there? Am I relying on some of these things, right? And maybe this comes with, the time to reimagine your ideas on things. Do I need to reimagine what love is because I'm using food as a way to love myself and lying to myself about what that love actually is? Because that's not love. If it's not making me feel good things, if it's not giving me energy, if it's not, right? And so the whole point of every hole that you can dig into to find out something is going to come back to this point that if you have to take care of yourself and look at things in front of you as if they are an act of love or not an act of love to the self. And if you're accomplishing that goal with all the things that you do, and realizing and fully comprehending if what you're doing is actually hurting you or not, and what that hurt or helping you is. And it has to be something you then begin to build for yourself, because for many people, they probably didn't get someone didn't give you the opportunity to sit here and look at yourself and be like, no, don't do that shit to yourself, bro. Like that's not worth it. And some people just don't even realize certain things until they have the realization. And sometimes that realization doesn't come for years, depending on who you are. So it really, 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 really comes down to taking time for yourself in every single part of it, and just being the parent to yourself, right? Even if you don't know what that parent is, it's just like the very basic, simple things: being compassionate with yourself, being patient, bringing yourself these emotions that maybe once again someone has or has not given you. But to care for oneself means that you have to understand every part of what oneself encompasses, or what you are, from every part of your existence, from your adult self to your child self. And knowing what parts of you are, which they all are, interconnected into this current point of what you consider you, and knowing how much of that, right? Like sometimes you might have to discipline yourself because you're enacting something that is not self-love, but you also have to know how you don't deprecate yourself, but still love thyself, while also being able to sit there and not do whatever it is, or discipline yourself like a stern parent would if they really cared about their child, right? And if you don't have the example, then maybe you can see the example somewhere in existence, because although there is a lot of bad, there is plenty of good, and everything that you think that's bad that exists, there's an equal opposite amount of good that exists. There is a consistent existence of everything at once, and the only thing that might seem real sometimes is what we pinnacleize, but that's also, once again, only what you tell yourself. So on this constant search for the help of the self and the care of the self, then it comes with being able to sit back in the care for thyself. And you got to be every part of that self for you to be who you want to be for yourself. You know, if you want other people to treat you a specific way, you have to treat yourself first. You can't treat anybody else any better than you can treat yourself, period. And so if there's some aspects of like what you can't imagine because people haven't treated you that way, then it's just realizing that, well, there's maybe some things you have to start doing for yourself, like taking your time for yourself. If that means that you got to quit that job, that you got to do whatever it takes so that you get your time to just sit down and just think, or just exist, or evaluate your existence, or find your peace, or whatever it is that comes down to it. If you're not prioritizing you, nobody else will. Nobody will prioritize you like you, but it has to be in a way that is only a consistency of love and nothing else. If it's a consistency of anything else, then you're technically just disservicing yourself. Don't lie to yourself about what care is and what care isn't, because indulging yourself into something that inherently also destroys you is never good for you. And so it's like, and it's a very somewhat difficult thing to be able to step right outside of your box of looking at yourself as an existence, as an entity, as whatever, and just being able to give yourself almost what, you know, if no one's ever given it to you, or you haven't fully been able to see that as a thing in your reality, now be given to you. And it's just the idea of it exists out there in a positive light, but it's just now asking, well, what do I want? And how much of those things that I want are actually helping me if I want them? Because you could say I want something and that's my self-care, but, you know, I can't agree with you that abusing any type of substance or overeating all the time or doing anything like that is going to be loving yourself, because that means you're then recreating the depiction of what love is, and you're completely fabricating it delusionally inside of your own existence. And it's probably one of the hardest parts about finding the ability to love yourself is to be critical of yourself effectively, is to be honest with yourself without deprecating yourself entirely or bringing it into some form of negative light, and always prosing it in that you are the compassionate part of your own existence that has to grow. And if you're not going to show it love while it grows, then it's going to grow to hate itself. And that's what you might already be sitting in right now. But me telling you these things is now letting you understand you have the choice to not do so anymore. And by saying you have the choice to do so is that you can fight for yourself. And only you can. And you have to be the forefront of figuring out, finding out, establishing, and proposing to yourself what you will and will not put up with, setting your boundaries appropriately. Like, look at your existence as if like you are the parent, and come out of it and just look at yourself walk around for a day, for a week. Then ask yourself, like, not your regular parents, but you, the parent of yourself, looking down at everything you just experienced the last week. Would you, as a parent, what would you have to do to your child in that dynamic? And maybe this is some type of vague ideology of how you could look at something. But metaphorically, this is probably one of, I'd say, a very good effective way that we can get an understanding on how we should treat ourselves. Because if you're not treating yourself, then you're not treating others the way you're treating everyone else the same way you treat you. And so you have to look at you in the mirror, everyone can. So you have to bring that to the table of, how am I going to give whatever I'm giving to you? Because whatever I'm giving to you, I have to also make sure that that's what I'm spreading. I live you spread what you live, right? If you live in peace, you're going to spread peace. You're going to spread harmony. You're going to spread love. But if you live in hatred, you live in deprecation, that's what you're going to spread. And you're going to see it everywhere. And it's going to be your existence. And everything is going to be completely fashioned around whatever you structure your reality to be. And I'm letting you know right now, you are the controller, facilitator, creator, and manifester of this entire reality that you live. And it's entirely up to you at the same time on what you want it to be. And if you realize now in this moment, or whatever moment you have, that, oh, I was doing that, or I have been, but I don't want to be doing that anymore, then now it's time to take care of myself. It's time. And if you really buckle down on that, who are you going to fight harder for? I want you to really answer that question for me in your head right now. Who are you going to fight harder for? Someone else or yourself? Because there are some very heartful people that fight for other people. But what if your idea of fighting was really that if you had fought for yourself in the first place, then you already would have inherently either brought up or out whatever it is that you're trying to take with you, or you would have never been in the position to take something up with you that never will be able to rise with you. And that's just part of understanding the value in itself of you and uptaking yourself in that light. And if you can't facet yourself in that seatbelt, then you won't live there. And I'm sorry. I truly am, because everyone deserves to get to that point. But I can't make you value you like you have to value you, and you have to be the fucking person to do it. I can't make you sit down. And take your time. I can't, you know what I mean? And I'm here. If someone wants to reach out more in DMs, give me a topic, give me a question, anything, and I'll answer here. That's what it's for. But whatever you seek will find you the same way you, the seeker, are trying to find it. And sometimes it'll get closer to you. And if we're paying attention, it's right there. The answers are in front of your eyes. The truth is always in front of your face. And if you think about it, if you use your brain, because this whole reality is created out of thought and thought alone, then you will be able to find your resolutions. And you'll also understand how to take care of yourself, because at least from the facet of what has not been given, we can figure out what needs to be given. And you have to just give that to yourself. Forgiveness, love, compassion, empathy, the truth, honesty, the openness, the ability to take risk, the openness to express thyself freely. And, if you don't start being the forefront of breaking your own parameters, you're going to live inside the box everyone created around you. So whose world do you want to live in, your own or somebody else's? And I think that that's a pretty simple, vindictive choice. Do we want to take our lives back into our hands? Well, we have to start caring. And if we don't care, then we can not care, but the world will still pull you in its own directions, because it doesn't give a fuck about you either. The world doesn't give a shit about anybody. It doesn't. The universe, it doesn't. It does not have emotions. So, but you have to care if you want what you want. If that's happy, if that's peace, if that's caring for myself, if that's wherever I'm upholding myself in whatever fashion, whatever stature, however that's going to exist, whatever that is realistically, that is entirely up to you. And so with that, remember, you have the decision, you have the choice to take care of yourself. And I truly think that every person deserves it. Every person deserves to take care of themselves. And regardless of whoever says what about that, at the end of the day, I'm not asking anybody to care about anybody else, but I'm asking for anyone that is caring to care for themselves. Whoever or what type of person you are in this world. because at that point, at least you have someone in your corner. And, you know, the only way that we really get where we want is imposing that love. There's enough hatred in this world, bro. There's plenty of it. Like plenty. And I wish nothing but the best for humanity and humans in general to continue to hopefully bring themselves into places of love and peace, and we start, you know, doing what I think most of us that give a shit want to happen. But there's plenty of people that don't. And that's, you know, I encourage you to continue to care about yourself, and just care about the ones that you're close to. You don't have to care about anybody either, but at least give a fuck about you, right? I don't know. Not that I don't know, I do know, but I hope that anyone that takes in this message, like, truly understands, like I give a shit enough about you to let you know that you should care about yourself. I care about people. And I cared so much that I didn't realize how much I had to care about myself to fully understand how I was supposed to give a shit about other people in general. I had to come to terms with that. I had to figure it out. I had to learn. We all have to learn. We're just growing students, growing children inside of this constant evolving universe. So just let yourself be the student. You don't know everything. You don't have it all down. It's not all correct. Not everything in your existence is completely 100% as it is and how it is and how it's always going to be. And it's okay to take a second to reflect, to think back, to relax, to do whatever it is that you're going to do for yourself, to help yourself, to love yourself, to appreciate yourself, to see your value, to see your worth, to put your foot down, to whatever, right? But I believe in every single person that will attempt to do it. I believe in every person in general. So I trust, and I entrust love into everybody listening. So thank you. Until next time,